What's going on, fellas? I've got a 2009 Ford Focus here. It's got the 2-liter engine, and I'm going to use this car to point out to you the location of the fuel pump fuse as well as the relay. And I'm also going to go into detail about the circuit, how it works. So I've got the cover popped off here, and this is your fuel pump relay. You can try tapping on it to see if it's stuck, or what I prefer to do is swap it with a known good relay. So I'm going to go and remove it here. You know, if your reverse lights work, you know your reverse light relay works, so that would be a good relay to swap in there. Now, there is a fuse that provides power to the fuel pump. That's going to be this 20 amp J-case fuse. Just grab it and wiggle it while you pull up. And yes, you are likely to break the little plastic cover that goes on top. But this is your fuel pump fuse. Now, the easiest way to tell if your fuel pump relay is turning on is check to see if you have power at this 10 amp fuse. You can check those little contacts there. If you have power at this fuse, then your fuel pump relay is good to go. It is getting turned on. This fuse is for the injectors. So I'll talk to you about what the pins do. That 30 amp fuse I just showed you, that provides constant power to this pin. This pin right here receives constant power from your fuel pump diode, which this is the diode right here. These can fail, and a good troubleshooting step would be to swap this diode with the one underneath it, which is for the air conditioning. That's something you would want to do if you don't see any power present at this pin right here. Now, when this relay is energized, it doesn't send power directly to the fuel pump, and instead sends power to the inertia switch, which is a safety device. And that inertia switch is located at this pin right here. So when the relay is energized, it sends power to that pin right there. And this ground comes in from your powertrain control module. When it wants the fuel pump to be running, it will send a ground there. So let me show you where the inertia switch is. The inertia switch is a safety device. It's supposed to get triggered in the event of an accident. Although I've seen if you hit a speed bump hard enough, it can trigger it. There's a way to reset it. You just reach in through here and push down on the switch. But these switches can fail as well. And if that's the case, if the switch fails, it will no longer send power to your fuel pump. So I'm going to show you how to test that out. You have to remove this trim piece. You want to unscrew these. So moving right along, once you get those two pieces out, you can remove this trim. You'll probably be a little gentler than me on your car. So that's the switch right here. You reset it by pushing down there at the top, and you can see the two wires here. Now the purple green wire, that's what receives power from that relay when it's energized. The purple white wire, that wire goes to the fuel pump, and it only receives power when this switch has not been set. So you can actually temporarily bypass this switch, although I don't recommend doing so. That's just a troubleshooting step. If you connect these two pins together, then it will take this switch out of the equation. Again, don't do that and drive the car around. That's just something you can do as a troubleshooting step. Now on this car, unfortunately, there's no easy way to access your fuel pump. It's not under the seat like on other cars. You have to drop the tank, but the wiring is here. So we see here there's the purple white wire that receives the power from that switch, and there's a black green wire in here that sends the fuel pump ground. So those two wires go to the fuel pump. And all this begs the question, you know, why do you think you have a fuel pump issue? There's an easy way to check to see if your fuel pump's running. Here's your fuel rail. If you disconnect this line that goes to it, you do so by getting this little green piece to pop out. You squeeze those two things together and push. Sometimes you have to pull it a little more. Once you have that green piece out, you can kind of pull this out here. So you should be getting fuel coming out of this whenever you turn the key to the on position. So if you don't get fuel out of here, then you'll want to check the fuel system there. But yeah, I hope all this info was helpful for you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions, or more importantly, if you have any advice about troubleshooting the fuel system on your Focus.